And this could be a very nice long race. I don't think anyone has done a live New Game Plus race before, right?
I've never seen one, at least. And I've also never noticed anyone saying anything about that before.
I got a pretty loud in-game sound though. Wait a second. Yeah, the music is in parts very loud, so we have to adjust that. So, I'm ready, you ready?
Yes, okay. So, I guess I start.
Give me the countdown.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Sorry. Half a second. You will get that, right? So, by the way, Beenya is the runner with the better PB, actually. So, you might want to look at his screen, and yeah, actually I'm more for just pushing him a bit. Nothing more.
Who knows?
Okay, so the first thing is that we do is just doing the tutorial fight. And okay, it is in the New Game Plus category, so we have level 99 characters, except for the two that are only in the tutorial actually. But normally we have level 99 characters, and we are quite strong.
Yes, we can destroy any enemy.
Yeah.
Besides super bosses.
Yeah, we were just able to get the level 99 characters and the equipment that we need throughout the run. Before the before the start, so we had a New Game Plus save file, of course.
Yes. Also, because it's New Game Plus, the game doesn't bother showing any tutorials.
Yep.
It also doesn't bother hiding the fact that one of the characters you just saw is shown later in the game in another role.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course. And we have the strongest weapon in the game, which in the new game, Shulk would get the strongest weapon in the game. About where it is? Oh, there it is. Shulk would get the strongest weapon just in the last boss fight, even not even before the last boss fight, but between two phases of the last boss fight. And yeah. That was bad. I'm totally not focusing.
Yeah. And every character who's kinda important for the story progression or for fights later on has weapons that can damage any type of enemy, even Machina easily. Yeah, Machina are the enemies we fought at the beginning, and they show up a lot later. And to damage those, you need weapons made of the same metal or alloy. Otherwise, you'll deal 1 damage with any attack that isn't ether based.
Yes, so we need special weapons to actually damage the Machina, and of course we can prepare that, and we already have them.
Yes. The damage decrease is not really a disadvantage.
Yeah, if we use a normal weapon against Machina, we just would deal only 1 damage instead of like a couple of thousand points. So basically we deal no damage there.
Yes, otherwise both characters we currently have their minimum and maximum basic attack damage increased.
Yes.
Also increasing the arts damage.
Yep.
And strength up, extra movement speed, and for Shulk, Earth Cloak, which decreases enemy sight on ground by 50% or even more.
Yeah, I think it's 50%.
So almost no enemy can detect us unless it's flying
Yep.
or water-based.
Yep. So, you use the arts damage on Ryan. I'm using the crit rate actually because I'm going for a critical based build. So there's even the difference that we can take during the in between the builds. He's just more relying on the base damage with the increased arts damage, which gives I think about 50% damage to arts.
I don't know exactly.
And I'm just increasing the crit rate for Ryan, so he can deal critical hits. And critical hits do double damage, but I only have a 50% chance on it. So I can potentially deal more damage than Beenya does. Yeah,
So
I don't have the guarantee to do so.
on back attacks, I'm more reliant.
Yes.
Or the damage is more dependable.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's consistently lower.
We would
Yeah, go for it.
we would have another new donation now. $5 by Dorky. He sends us a conversation between Chalmers and Skinner. Chalmers, good lord, what is happening in there? Skinner, 541 Dragster. Chalmers, a Dragster in 511 seconds, recorded on VHS, run on original hardware, verified by Twin Galaxies, recognized entirely by Guinness. Skinner, yes. Chalmers, may I see it? Skinner, nope. Thank you very much, Dorky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, we are both at the point where we need to collect some ether cylinders. Because some soldiers managed to smash the mobile artillery, I think, into
Into a house.
into a house, and the ether cylinders completely drained.
Yep.
And refilling them would take too long. So Ryan was sent there as part of a punishment.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, more or less punishment. So the troop colonel of the defense forces where Ryan is serving, he's
Strict, to say the least.
he's a very strict colonel and he knows the drill. And it's just funny to see him in the cutscenes. Well, actually, we are skipping all the cutscenes, of course. The game has about 10 hours in cutscenes. So I one time was mad enough to do a any percent no cutscene skip run, which was about 14 hours. So I thought about submitting it to this marathon, but I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have been accepted anyways.
Yeah,
Anyways, the
chances were-
cutscenes are really, really good, and you just have to laugh a lot through the cutscenes, and you just have so many really stereotypical characters, like the Defense Forces Colonel who.
Yeah. His nickname is Colonel Square-Tash.
Yes.
Also because he actually has a square-looking mustache.
Yes. That's really. It's just really good. And yes, I think the punishment for the mobile artillery was like 300 rounds around the court and 1,000 sit-ups. Or push-up? No, it was 1,000 push-ups, actually.
Yes, I think so.
Something like that.
No.
So, oh, you're already there. That's
Yes.
not good. I took way too much time in the menuing.
Yeah. No. We make an attack, and since we can't quick travel anywhere, I just jump down into the water
Yeah, actually you get an achievement for that. It's called the Big Splash. It's pretty interesting that you just get achievements for random stuff like this.
Yeah, it's the shortest way back. Alternatively, you could go back through Tephra Cave, but it takes way too long.
Yeah.
And falling into water from any height doesn't deal any damage, so...
Yeah, so that's rather convenient for us. Actually, of course, we try to jump as closest to the shore as possible, because swimming is just slower than walking, and we want to walk as much as possible, so we always try to jump over water sections so that we don't have to swim that much. So Beenya is in the middle of the Mechon attack right now.
And it's one of the few occasions where enemies attack me.
Yes.
The only ones attacking me right now are either at most 5 levels below me or way above, or they are unique enemies or quest exclusives like those here.
Yep.
Everybody else will just ignore me.
Yes, so that's normally the case in Xenoblade Chronicles, that enemies that are more than 5 levels below your level will just ignore you unless they are special enemies or quest related or anything like that. In this case, it's technically not that relevant that they attack us, but there are some enemies that can get really annoying because of that. Because you can't do certain things while you're in a fight, and as soon as an enemy attacks you, you are already in the fight. So we will see that later, maybe. Hopefully not.
Yes, hopefully those few uniques will not look in the wrong direction. Or we don't mess up getting past them.
Yep. So yeah, for the fights currently, since we do a lot of damage and we are really strong actually, we mostly focus on the area of effect attacks currently, because the enemies just don't have enough HP to stand these attacks. As soon as they get more HP, we will switch to less AoE attacks, but rather attacks that deal more damage and still one-shot enemies.
Yes, instead of big high area damage, it's high single target damage then.
Yep. So in the fight that Beenya is currently doing, there's one trick. There's a Monado art that you don't have normally in the new game run at this point.
And for some reason it forces him to immediately use his cutscene starting attack, last resort.
Yeah, so
otherwise it's on a timer, I think.
Yeah, so normally there are certain enemies and certain quest fights. They are timed so that the enemy will do a certain attack at a specific point, and this attack will just
trigger the next cutscene.
No, it will just end the fight actually. So we will just use and for some reason we can force him to do this fight ending attack just by using the shield. We don't know why actually, but it works.
And saves about 10 seconds already.
Yep. So we both are out of the mechanic attack right now. So now it's rather where the game really starts.
Yes. During the attack, we lost our friends Fiora,
Yes.
and now we are on a personal quest for vengeance.
Yes, that's
Pretty much.
That's basically the. It sounds even bad if we say it's basically the plot which always which starts the whole thing, but
Yep.
it is.
It is.
And don't worry, the plot will get better.
Yeah. The game starts with we lost our friends, or loved one even. So, in return, we'll just murder every mechon in sight,
Yeah.
including their leader in the end, or
Yeah.
at least we plan to.
Yes. For now, we plan to kill each and every one of them.
And now some arachnos, some spiders captured Ryan
Yes.
for him to be the food for the queen.
Yeah, more or less. So,
And
actually, these spiders seem to be quite hungry.
Shark runs after them to free Ryan, of course. Conveniently, it's also the path we'd have to take anyway.
Yep. Okay.
And now in this fight, you usually first, yeah, wrong move.
Nice.
Now you
Yes.
see the first
vision.
vision.
Yay. So that's time for me to recover, because for me actually I use another attack and that's actually also enough to end the fight. And I hopefully won't get a vision there.
Yeah,
So
normally I just use Monado Buster, but I pressed the wrong button.
I'm even fine with stream edge.
Yeah, streamer should be more than enough too.
Yeah, and that's far shorter animation than Monado Buster.
Now we are close to the Gore Plains, so
Yep.
and it's probably the most known theme of Xenoblades.
Yeah, but we actually won't hear it because it's nighttime. That's the interesting stuff in the run. We won't hear it until I think we approach Colony 6. Something
yeah,
like
might
that.
be.
After Sword Run, I guess. Oh damn, I did some spoilers by saying the name.
Spoilers in the speedrun, oh my god.
So yeah, by the way, the world of Xenoblade Chronicles, so the whole world where Shulk and Ryan are exploring right now, is on two big giants, and these, well, big titans more or less, and these titans were fighting thousands of years ago against each other, and apparently they both killed each other within the fight, and on the corpses of these still standing titans, there has been new life grown, and so we're technically now at the leg of the Bionis, one of the titans.
Yes, we're now on the... I don't know its English name.
It's the lower leg, more or less.
No, it's the upper. We were on the kneecap after Tephra Cave.
Yeah, of course, Kneecap Hill is... yeah, sorry. Tephra Cave is Kneecap Hill, so we're on the upper leg.
And now... we are pretty close together, actually.
Yeah, I've recovered a bit.
you know, since we'll need to go there later anyway, we get quick travel points before actually going to the next quest location.
Yep.
Because after rescuing Juju,
Yeah, Juju's the name. Yes.
and well, they can randomly appear when collecting any item
Yeah.
that's needed for some quest.
Yeah. It won't appear on each item, but it will appear in some items, and it's actually the first item that I pick up by accident even, and I just happened to get the first version, so that's some very good RNG there. No, definitely not good RNG. I get pretty trolled there.
Yeah, each of those visions can take a lot of time.
Yep.
5 or 6 seconds each, I think.
Yeah, depending on how much text there is, in fact.
Yes, and now we've found the refugees of Colony 6.
Yes.
And while talking to Sharda, Sharda offended Juju, and now he's gone to Colony 6 to somehow drive off the Macron himself.
Yeah, so basically we have to tell that the city where Shulk and Ryan are from is Colony 9, and there are some Homs colonies, and there are only 2 colonies left, and that are Colony 9 and Colony 6. And apparently, since Colony 9 got attacked by the Macon, also Colony 6 got attacked by the Macon, but they didn't manage to...
Or they didn't have a Monado, so they couldn't drive over any Macon.
Yeah.
And Colony 6 got wasted completely.
Yeah, Colony 6 just got destroyed, and some people just managed to escape the colony, and yeah, these people are led by Charla currently. And Charla is the older sister of Juju, and yeah, since she originally didn't allow Juju to get out of the refugee camp, she got quite mad with him, and so he tried to just, rescue Colony 6 of his own, which is completely madness. So we're just running after Juju now to rescue him again.
Yeah, we already had to save him from 2 Ardents, so how the hell is he gonna drive off several mech?
Several?
A lot.
More or less like... it's more like... thousands? Hundreds? Oh, I guess more hundreds.
Yeah.
Including a phased Mechon, which is a really, really strong enemy. Well, apparently it should be a strong enemy, but yeah, it's New Game Plus still.
Yes, and while we were on Warborough Bridge, Shulk had another vision of Juju being captured by a Mechon, spider-like Mechon, on a platform.
Yes.
And yeah, shortly after that, I think he had another one, and Sharda then recognized the place to be Spiral Valley, or so.
Yes, it is Spiral Valley.
Oh, yes.
So, and that's the location that you're just coming up to.
Exactly.
I still need some time.
Yes. And while approaching that, Shulk unlocks another ability for Simonado.
Yep.
Which
above. Let's get it.
Normally would increase the evasion of one character by a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's obviously useless in a speedrun. We don't really get hit anyway. And now the mysterious face or sword. So now that he's at his HP threshold, I can't damage him any further. I just have to wait for him to use his story attack, more or less.
Yeah, so we mentioned earlier that we could do
That was fast.
a technique with for Metal Face to just force him to do his fight-ending technique, but actually Metal Face is the only enemy where we can do that, and for the rest of the enemies we just have to wait and sit out until they do their story-related attack.
Yes, and now that I finished Spiral Valley, yeah. Immovable Gonzalez is standing there, and it's a level 90 enemy right in front of you when teleporting there.
Yeah, that's interesting. There are several, even in the new game, when you don't have the new game plus, normally you should be like level.
When you
10,
get
15?
to Gour Plains, you're usually about level 15 at most.
Yeah, something like that. Oh, that was pretty good for me as well.
And
And yeah,
then
normally
with a bit of bad luck you can run across Territorial Road Bart, which is a level 88 unique,
yeah,
running around lower part where you start off.
yes. So he's running around Gour Plains, and you have the level 90 immovable Gonzalez there. You have several level 70 enemies, so the game is actually kind of forcing you to return to these places to really discover everything later in the game. So Beenya is already in the Colony 6 area.
But Colony 6 itself is closed off, so we are going into the ether mines.
Yeah. So the colony is basically built like a fortress, and it's just not accept. You can't just get into it, except for some tunnels in the ether mines, so that we can bypass the defenses.
Yeah, I think Shulk also had a vision about Juju being held down there.
Maybe? I think, yeah. Yeah.
Since we can't get into the mines via Colony 6 itself, we have to go through the waste duct, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, more or less.
Through the sewer drainage outlet.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Similar things happen a lot of times. You don't just barge in through the main door, you just try to get there through other means.
yes.
But just as often you will just run into the next fight knowingly.
Yeah. So the ether mines are pretty interesting as soon as we reach the central pit. It's a location where we need to get to the lowest part of the central pit pretty fast. And we can do some interesting jumps which almost kill us by fall damage, but just almost kill us. And it's just abusing these jumps to get down as fast as possible. I almost fell off the cliff there.
Yeah, and I had bad luck with the fight. The one Mechon I targeted immediately moved to the right. Otherwise I could have just used one attack to kill them all.
Yeah, that sometimes can happen if you are too late with your AoE attack, and that can kill some time.
Yeah. First unique enemy targeting me. Now opening the door to the central pit.
Ooh, that's...
Ooh, even worse luck.
That was the worst luck. Actually, the enemy that I was targeting decided to go to another... to split off the other enemies.
The same as me then.
Ah. You also had this one? Yeah, normally you get just one random enemy and not the one that you are targeting to split off. So...
And now for some pretty close jumps.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see
Oh.
if I...
Yeah.
I can't.
Oh, you're really doing this one?
Yes, that can happen.
I got the second vision there!
Bad execution, bad luck.
So let's see if I can do... It can do it better.
Yes. Now I have to wait for a platform to get back up.
So we're pretty close together actually.
Yes.
I'm just jumping on a bit different platform that Beenya was doing. Just hope that I can make it. Okay.
Yes, you'll catch up a lot now.
Yes, I got the fast cycle actually. That's good. That could have been early. No, it wasn't. That was good. That was exactly what I wanted. I'm not used to the screen, so I think I overshot it a bit. And coming up for Beenya is one of the reasons why we're actually using the 50 Hertz option. So yeah, we are actually playing on the Wii U, but we are playing on the Wii U via a analog video output to have the 50 Hertz on the PAL version and not the 60 Hertz HDMI or NTSC version. The reason for that is that actually the... Oh, you're doing save and reload strats even?
Yeah, it's a bit faster.
I think it won't be faster for me though.
Probably not.
Not now.
So yeah, one funky thing you can do in 50 Hertz, you can just walk through that obstacle.
By any reason, we don't know why. In the 60 Hertz version, you just cannot do it, but in the 50 Hertz version, you just can walk straight through
Apparently your movement speed together with the movement speed of that platform is too fast for the collision to push you back, and then you just walk through.
Yeah, normally if we walked around that wall, we would just have a fight like Beenya has right now.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why we
Yeah.
prefer to just walk through it, but we normally can't do it when we're playing on the 60 Hertz version.
Yes, at 60 Hertz you're just not fast enough.
Yep. So that should be enough for me. Yes.
And yeah, doing that other fight would lose about 20 seconds, I believe.
Yeah, something like that, 20, 25. Depends on how good you're doing. Well, basically it's about the cycle, because you lose one cycle on the platform by doing the fight.
And now we are on the bottom of the pit. And now we destroyed or are destroying Zord.
Yes. So I was mentioning that there are in total 10 hours of cutscenes, and the whole scene at the bottom of this pit is normally like 15 minutes long, including this fight, and we just have to do this fight and it's already over.
Yes. What happens after the fight is what's its name? Farron is pushing Zord into the ether flow under the bottom with a minecart or something like that, and
Yeah.
instead of just plummeting in there, Zord pulls Farron down to the pit as well, and Shulk, or rather we have a vision of it happening soon, so Shulk darts to a crane or whatever, I don't know its name, so to prevent that, and barely manages to hold on to him.
Yeah, with the help of Ryan.
Yeah, shortly before Van plummets into the ether, he jumps after him and then gets caught by Ryan, who himself is not standing anymore.
Yeah. So they just managed to save Thoron, and
Yes.
that's good because he is also a pretty tough guy, and we will need him later as a supporting character in the story. So, as you just shortly saw at Beenia's screen, Xord didn't completely die from that.
But in New Game, you notice you can damage him normally like any other Mechon instead of having to rely on toppling him.
Yes.
So something has to have changed for him.
Yep.
Now,
That's-
after leaving the lift, we are again attacked by Metal Face.
Yes, the one that attacked Colony 9. And that's actually the Mechon that Shulk and Ryan are looking for.
And
Yep, basically Shulk gets a vision that they will meet Metalface again at the very top of the Bionis. As I was mentioning, we're playing as a... Well, the world is on two huge titans, and Shulk had a vision that they will meet Metalface again at the very top of the Bionis, at the head. At a big tower there. So we're now on the quest to move up the Bionis up to the head.
yes, and when it seems that we would get killed there, first Dixon and Dunban show up and save us a bit. And after killing the small Mechon and getting cornered by Metalface and several phased Mechon, Atalafia shows up and destroys nearly every other Mechon.
Yeah, Atalafia is a mighty creature that... yeah, they get more plot later in the game.
For now it's a mythical creature no one, or almost no one, knew about before.
But it's good that you mentioned Dunban, because I still need to equip his gems. Where it is. It's max attack, it's min attack there. He doesn't... I'll give him the first strike.
Now, Sato Marsh, we are trying to cut corners as much as possible.
Yes.
because it's one of the many walking sections.
Yeah. And
Long walking sections, actually.
yeah. And we actually need, at the end of Stadtholm Marsh, we need 4 quest items that are...
Littered across
Yeah.
the marsh.
Yeah, they are all over the marsh. And we can... yeah, while we're on the way, we can already collect these quest items. And that's what we will be doing as well. So it's a rather long walking section. Again, we don't want to walk through water as far as we can avoid it. We don't want to walk through water. So you can see on Beenya's side right now how slow water can be. But we need to get through the water to get the first.
Yes, the dark swamp is actually slower than normal water.
Yes,
And
right.
it's poisonous. So
Yeah, right.
yeah.
It's
You-
actually...
in new game it deals exactly as much damage as it dealt for me now, so in new game when you're about level 20 something or close to 30, yeah,
Yeah, it's,
about 25,
it's just difficult to get through it.
yeah, you can die in there.
Yep.
And now let's hope the Ignar isn't going to look towards the next stone. Otherwise I lose some time killing him.
Looks good for you.
Yes. He wasn't even close to facing me.
Yeah. So there's a rare enemy, and as we mentioned earlier, rare enemies also don't ignore you. So if they see you, they will attack you. And while we are in the fight, we cannot pick up any collectibles or quest items that are lying around. So we actually don't want to have him looking at us. That's one of the reasons why we take the Earth Cloaking gem to decrease their range of sight. So let's see if I get the same luck or if I have to get him down.
And now we are actually at the end of Saturn Marsh already, but we have to make another detour to grab the last 2 stones.
That was pretty close. The bad thing is I actually also I'm not able to get to waypoints while being in a fight, and yeah, I caught pretty bad luck there.
Yeah. One good thing about this place is you get the waypoints for the end of Saturn Marsh even when you're walking past it by several meters.
It's almost a kilometer that you're walking past it.
Yeah.
The range is just far. It's just really big.
Yeah, usually you have to go pretty close to the waypoints. In that case, you don't for some reason.
Yeah.
And now, let's hope I can get another interesting thing. Ah, didn't. If you manage to jump right at the edge of a waterfall, you can get launched up until the next green patch,
Yeah. You
or
can
even further.
you can fly really fast there, really far there.
Yeah, it saves a few seconds.
So you already have your 4 quest items. That means 1 more boss. Well, not boss, it's more or less just a quest fight. And then you can make up the climb.
Exactly. Now, talking to Nopan merchants to learn about the stones needed
Yeah.
to complete the ritual, to then fight the enemy, to then be able to go up.
Yeah, we actually collect all the items we need and then talk to the NPC that tells us that we need these items. So let's see if I can pull off the jump. I actually managed it! Nice. So that was
Stay alert. Nice job.
a bit of a... Yeah, I just came a little bit closer
I
again.
went too far. Damn it. Yes, I'm standing below the staircase now.
I didn't even know that you can...
You can do that when you're walking too far.
Yeah, so we mentioned that we are playing on the 50 hertz... on the 50 hertz version. The thing is, we both have a PAL console, but we normally don't have any method to capture analog video at home. So we're normally running the 60 hertz category. But since there's really little difference in execution, we just opted to get the faster 50 hertz version for this marathon. So technically we are running a subcategory, a different subcategory than we normally do. And the thing why we're splitting between the 50 hertz and the 60 hertz version is that all characters in the 50 hertz version are walking about 15% faster. And that's why it just can't happen that we're walking too far. And I think yes, I made it correctly.
Yes. And so far I've been very lucky about visions.
Yeah, I'm normally have the feeling that you tend to get not that many visions, but if you get visions, most of them are while you're climbing. And normally I happen to really eat the visions in this climbing section here. They really like me. Normally. Maybe they are a bit more friendly to me since I already had to.
Let's hope they are.
That was a good one. Didn't get a vision there.
Yeah, and now we are inside the Bionis.
Yes. You are, I'm not. I'm still trying to... Well, let's just see if I can make that... Oh, I didn't. I did make the jump even. So that's a small strat that I haven't seen from many runners. But I think it's a pretty neat strat to spare some of the climbing. Okay, so I'm 1 times the lungs behind. By the way, did you already equip Dunban?
No, I don't even use him yet.
Ah. So I have a slight advantage on you there.
Yes, you have.
So it looks that we are further apart of each other than we actually are. I think you're still a bit leading.
Yeah, I'm still leaning a bit.
Maybe 10 seconds or something like that. So, and I have to wait for the next cycle.
Yes,
I
you
could-
can save and reload for that, but I don't know the timing.
I'm not sure about the timing either, so that's why I opted to not to go for that.
Yes. The waypoint I just got is for another bit of skipped backtracking.
Yes. We actually need to get to the quest marker that Beenya is just approaching, and then we need to get back to that waypoint. Oh. I actually hit the save button there. And you hit the first vision, nice. It's even getting closer.
Could have avoided that one easily.
Yeah, that's a sad thing about it. You normally go for like, should I really avoid that collectible there? Oh, come on, I won't get the vision. And bam, you got it. That's normally these are normally the visions that hurt the most. And knowing that you can avoid it. So, let's get over to the bridge. And... yeah, so Magna Forest is just a really, really big area. You actually can get to that waterfalls there. To these waterfalls. And that's really interesting. Because if you still think about that you are on one giant titan there, that's pretty interesting. I think I'll do another comment about the scaling later.
Yeah. In the last cutscene we saw an unconscious girl lying on the floor in a pretty dead-looking part of the forest.
Yes.
And to heal her up, we need the purest water crystals possible.
Yep.
No escape. I'm feeling it.
And while we are collecting that water crystal, Telefius show up, and at the same time Elvis also makes an appearance. And
Alvis, yeah.
we
Alvis.
don't know who he is yet, but he shows us how to purge the Telefius mind reading aura.
Which is pretty interesting because the weapon that Shulk is using, the Monado, there are only 2 people known that can use the Monado in the correct ways, and that's Dunban and Shulk. And suddenly this random guy shows up and just goes like, oh yeah, there you go, by the way, you have to do it like this. And that's pretty interesting because in the story you then start to think about it. Who is that guy? And actually,
You don't know until the very end.
yeah, Elvis is a pretty well done character just because he is a big mysterious throughout the whole game.
Literally in the last cutscene he reveals what he actually is.
Yeah.
After the final boss.
Yes. We most likely won't see it, I guess.
Yeah, I changed a bit for Shulk just there. I switched from first attack to back attack. Because from now on the boss fights will get longer. And back attack is more damage in total than first attack is.
Yeah, so first attack is basically it.
Yeah, the first attack increases the damage of the first attack dealt, I think, even for normal attacks by 150%. And back attack increases the damage of every back attack into the back of the enemy by 100%.
Yeah, conveniently, Shulk has the backstep art, which is backslash. Yeah, sorry, nicht backstep, it's backslash. And that's also an attack that deals increased damage if you attack from behind the enemy. And that's convenient because if you combine these, the backslash and the backstep, the back attack rune, you get a really ton of damage, and that's mostly the burst damage that we're using through like the first 3/4 of the game.
Yes, you can combine that with Shadow, whatever it's called. Shadow Eye.
Yeah, Shadow Eye.
Which increases it by 1.5 for next attack, next art.
Yeah, I guess it was 1.5. So that's how you can stack up your damage pretty good. We will see an even better stacking of bonuses for Ryan later. That's what we will use in the last quarter of the game as the main attack. But I guess we can get to that later.
Normally you would just teleport back down, but...
You're really doing it! You're really doing the swag!
Yeah, I failed.
Oh.
Ah.
So still some chance for capitalizing on for me on that. I didn't expect it to really pull it off during the marathon.
Yeah, it's only a few seconds.
Yeah. So no, you're normally not supposed to do it, but it just looks cool.
Ah, too early. Now, in the last cutscene,
damn it!
The next character was introduced named Ricky, and yeah, during the cutscene they play a bit of volleyball with him because he makes his entrance by literally falling onto Ryan's head.
Yeah. So since I also fell down where I shouldn't fall down, I just take the normal route.
And yeah, the first impression Ricky made on Ryan will carry through the whole game.
The furball.
Yeah. Ryan never really likes Ricky for the rest of the game.
So by the NPC that I'm just getting to, it's actually possible to talk to the NPC before you hit the ground, and that's pretty interesting because you can spare like 1 second there because you don't have to watch the stand-up animation.
Yeah, another big enemy, albeit a normal one, the Dinosaurus. Level 98. Will attack you on sight.
Yeah. One of the very few enemies that are regular enemies and still try to attack us.
And one of the few enemies that actually appears in the speedrun.
Yeah. Ooh, I wasn't sure whether or not I am able to sneak past that one. Oh, come on, let's just get the fight.
As long as you don't evade an attack, it doesn't lose any time.
Yeah,
But evading an attack can lose a second.
Yeah.
It also in fights it basically removes any ability to deal damage.
Yeah. So the Tilapia fight that Beenya is doing right now is quite interesting. Technically it has two phases, and the first phase is one of these fights where you just have to wait for a... Oh, wow,
Close.
that was close. It's one of these phases where you have to wait for a special attack to happen, but you can actually force the Tilapia into doing this attack by reducing its HP as far as possible. So the Tilapia will do the attack at any time, but if the HP drops below 10%, I guess, the next attack will most likely be the fight-ending attack. And I got a 2.
Now, after killing the Tilapia or Dino Beast,
The Dino Beast.
we are allowed to go up to RC.
Yeah, Aerith C is a... I pretty like this area, but it's so damn huge.
Yes. Luckily, you can teleport for most of the way.
Yep.
Because the high-end here living there have some very advanced technology.
So, let's see. I'm also heading for Earth C right now. So we are pretty close to each other again. And that's still a time where... So, the funny thing about it is, it looks like Beenya is in the lead for the whole run. But there is one particular fight where you can even mess up pretty bad in the New Plus category.
Yes, and guess the jump before, I think there's also a jump later on that can lose 10 minutes or more when you mess up completely.
So normally for that particular jump that we're talking about, I normally don't do any save strats for it. I just give it a go or not. And I actually for this race will make a save file. I will make the save.
Yeah, I started using save files after losing 10 minutes to it on my first run.
Yeah.
And so far it's never lost a lot of time.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, here in Earth C, you're doing the route that I take.
I don't know if it's faster, but whatever.
I just wanted to say that we're using different routes there, because I normally take a waypoint. Well, normally the first thing you should do in Earth C is entering the capital of the high-end tier people that are living here. And so we're basically... So what I normally do is going to the entrance of the capital, getting the waypoint there, and then before actually entering the capital, I'll take another way around and get another waypoint, which we need later. That's something I normally do, but I've not seen many runners doing it, many other runners, but I think it should be faster overall.
I don't know, you do have to walk back from waypoints. It's
well,
so it shouldn't.
You have to walk to this waypoint, but later you have to manually choose the waypoint that you're going to via the menu, and by just choosing the lighthouse. I think it should be faster.
Yeah, might be a bit faster. And now we are in Alkmaar, the capital of the Arentia. And when trying to enter the city, we were greeted by Imperial guards.
Mm-hmm.
And after they saw the Monado, Shulk, and everyone but Melia were put into custody until it's clear that they don't want to harm anyone using the Monado.
Yeah. So actually, there's one time disadvantage that I have, because we have different equipment builds, and I have an equipment build where I actually need to equip the gems on Melia. Beenya has some gems where he doesn't need to equip. I actually could go for different items and prepare a different save file for that, but I just didn't do it before this race. Maybe I will do it later to have a better save file, but for now I just have to equip these gems while Beenya doesn't have to.
Yeah, I only had to equip the movement speed gem, but that's something I already did while equipping Shulk and Dunban.
Yeah. So overall you have to do less equipment. You have to do less equipping.
Yeah.
So there's quite a lot going on in the in this area, Alkamoth, so the high anti capital, and Aerith Sea. You have various tasks to do there, and yeah, we will just stay for a while here. Our main target is to get into Prison Island, which is a floating island. Just a bit away from the capital, but you actually need a sanction from the High Anti-Emperor to enter the prison island. And for now we don't get it, so we just help where we can.
Exactly. After the last cutscene, Elvis, the Imperial Seer, told the guards that we are no threat to anyone, so
oh, that's an interesting strat. So yeah, it turns out that Alvis actually is the seer of the Imperial family, which is interesting because he was just such a mysterious character before, and then he appears here again, and you just don't get more information about him. Then he's just he's the seer, and his word has some weight in between the High Antia, and that's it. And you're like, okay,
yes,
who is this guy anyways?
And after that cutscene, you get to know that the worker repairing one of the teleporters or transporters hasn't come back yet, and so you simply force them to let them help you, let you help them.
Yeah.
And when returning to the palace, you get...
Yeah, we got attacked by some pretty interesting people. And... well, Melia is not in the party right now, because she's actually the daughter of the High Anti-Emperor. And Well, some people don't really like Melia because she's not a full-blooded high Antia. She is half high Antia, half Homs. And actually, Melia is the one in the Imperial family that is...
To be crown princess.
yeah, she is to be crown princess. She will be announced as crown princess soon, and some people don't really like it, so they send assassins for Melia and her friends. Actually, they don't openly send assassins for Melia, but they tricked more or less the Imperial family into letting Melia do a very important but also dangerous trial to be accepted by the
Ancestors.
And by the High Antia people as the crown princess. And for that, Melia has to enter the High Antia tombs, and Shulk has a vision that within the High Antia tombs there will be someone trying to kill Melia. So Shulk and the others also will try to prevent that from happening.
Yes, and they more or less trick Callian to let them into the tomb by saying Callian originally says you can't go into the tomb, it's only for her Antia, and Daman then says, well, if it's only for Antia, it doesn't say anything about Homs not being allowed in there.
Yeah, and that's why we're just able to enter it as well.
Roaring thunder! Your fighting spirit is mine! Take me lightly, dwarf. I feel the ether.
So yeah, by the way, Kalin is the brother of Melia. Half brother.
Yeah, and
So we're both in the tomb right now. In the tomb we first play Melia, getting to the trial. And then we will have the skip over to the team of Shulk, Ryan, Dunban, Shala and Ricky, because we see in the cutscene that the assassin is actually approaching Melia.
yes, and while entering the tomb, Ryan presses a button he isn't supposed to press, and as a result they get thrown into a pit meant for grave robbers.
Yeah.
And so they have to fight their way through the basement, basically.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm also in the ceremony room. It's actually not very much time that I'm behind. I almost fell down there. I'm not used to the speed. Still not used to it. So I'm getting rather high up on this wall because I normally tend to make some jumps off the wall to get some more space in the air, because jumping in the air is faster than climbing on the wall. And actually, the climbing speeds are there are different climbing speeds for horizontal climbing and vertical climbing. So if you climb diagonally, you actually climb faster. Because these speeds add up. And so I don't lose any time by getting to the upper side of the wall. But I have a higher distance that I can travel while being in midair.
And slight oversight when saying Shadow strengthens the next art, it actually strengthens every art in the next 5 seconds.
Yep.
So when you manage to spam more than one art in that amount of time, you get the 1.5 multiplicator 2 times. Or multiplier.
Yeah. So it's Ryan's attack, which it's Ryan's technique that just increases the damage of the next art.
Yes, the one from Person 7 as well.
Yeah. It's funny how we always manage... Well, there's a character later being in the team, and it's the 7th character that enters the party. And the identity of this character would be a huge spoiler, and it's funny how, even in the speedruns, we managed to call this character Person 7, which does all the databases and the wikis for Xenoblade Chronicles do that, just to not put the spoilers on. And it's funny how we managed to really say Person 7 all the time, until that character actually appears in the game. Then we just switch to the regular name. And we do all the runs. On my side, Dunban is just chilling right there. He was not like, oh, I don't want to enter that fight anymore. Why? So we're just now cleaning some stuff up, so everything seems fine for now, since we managed to get rid of the assassins, and Shulk actually gets to talk to the
Emperor.
Emperor, sorry. Wow, I must be tired still. And the Emperor actually asks Shulk to stay friends with Melia, and because she is a child that grew up very lonely, and she needs really good friends, and
yeah, he still doesn't want you to give permission to go to Prison Island.
Yeah, because he really needs to think about it, and
yeah, just when visiting Melia at the Imperial Villa, Mechon attack, and through permission we're going anyway. Pretty much.
Yeah.
After that.
Yeah, so there's a really big fleet of Mechons attacking the High Entia now. And yeah, to fend off the Mechon, the Emperor decides to do a very dangerous move by going to Prison Island on himself. He decides to
release the seal.
Release whatever is hidden in prison. Release whatever is hidden in Prison Island, because the High Entia know that someone was
or something.
Someone or something was sealed away in the Prison Island, and no one actually knows what exactly it is. But the Emperor just hopes that he can use this to fend off the Machina attack. And since that's very dangerous, and Shulk already had multiple visions about the Emperor dying on Prison Island, the party just decides to get after him and rescue him if possible. And they
Yes.
actually went into the wrong direction there.
Something to note: the Emperor already knows that he had a vision shown by Elvis that he'll go to Prison Island and release the seal and die in the process.
Yeah,
So he already knows that he probably won't survive that.
yeah, and that's also why he really fueled the wish to make Melly the Crown Princess as fast as possible, just to be sure that his people are taken care of. Yeah, so it's just a lot of travel time now. The thing is, we actually can't just enter Prison Island that easily. We have to activate some mechanisms to be able to go to Prison Island. And that's what Beenya is doing right now. So in the next 5 minutes we just have to go to the Central Seal Island, where the entrance to Prison Island is located. And after that we have to get to 2 mechanisms, so it's a lot of traveling and opening stuff. And
Even some unskipped cutscenes.
oh yeah.
One of a few.
I was just thinking about what unskippable cutscenes, but yeah, if you consider
Some of a
these,
few.
yeah.
You can't move in between, so it's basically a cutscene.
Yeah, it qualifies. It's such a short thing that I actually never considered it being a cutscene in Xenoblade Chronicles. Also, you don't have dialogues on that.
Yeah, it's more short camera ride showing what happened.
Yep. That's everything.
Same as when opening the main gate to the mines.
Yep. So I'm also at the Central Seal Island now. I should have gone left side first. That would have been awesome. Because that would look like I'm actually in lead. So, there is no real order. We have to open 2 seals. And there's no particular order in which we have to open these seals. It's more convenient for the speedrun to open the right one first, because you have a slightly faster menuing
Yeah,
for the quick travel.
yeah, it involves one button press less.
Yeah, it's
and
just
waiting for the next travel location to show up.
yeah, exactly. It's just in the list of waypoints, the bottom one, the waypoint of the bottom seal, is in the list before the one in the top, and that's why we have to move the cursor upwards to get back to the waypoint for the Central Seal Island. So since we haven't unlocked I haven't unlocked the bottom one yet, so I have to move the cursor once upward, and when I am at the bottom one, I also have to do it once. Otherwise I would have to do it once and twice. It's just one button press, literally.
And now that I opened the seal, I get to fight one of the ancient creatures imprisoned on Prison Island as well.
Yeah, so in Prison Island there are many ancient creatures as well as one very strong force, I'd say. And actually, currently the ancient creatures are fighting off the Mechon while the Emperor is still on the Prison Island, searching for this particular force. It's so strange, as soon as I see the Prison Island setting, I get a particular music in my mind that is in the game and is at the very end of the game. But it's not really related to this visit on Prison Island. It's just strange that I always get it in my mind there. So, Prison Island is rather short, given to how big the area is, since we can take a lot of shortcuts through teleporters, and we just are able to get to the top of Prison Island rather fast. The whole segment at Prison Island is about 2 minutes only, from entering the island until defeating the boss. And Beenya is already there. I was just entering Prison Island. I said it's not even 2 minutes, it's more or less just above 1 minute, I guess.
Now, Metal Face again.
Yeah, Metal Face. We haven't seen him in quite a while.
I just noticed that's the music playing for the unique enemy there.
Yeah, it is. There are 3 different battle musics, I guess. One for normal fights, one for unique. Oh no, 2 for normal fights. One for
3.
3, actually?
Yes.
Which is the third one? I know that on the on Mechanis there's a different one.
2. There are 2 on the corners.
Ah, I didn't notice that, actually. How many hours have I put into this game? Damn it. Well, that looks pretty... it looks pretty bad for me. And I didn't even notice that there are...
I also didn't notice that there's the unique music playing there, instead of the normal boss music.
Yeah. Well, okay, that's only one fight, but I mean... I didn't even get that one. So, the whole sequence on top of Prison Island also explains a lot through cutscenes. The Emperor has already fallen. He was killed by Metal Face. So, the vision that Shulk has seen actually came true, and he couldn't prevent it from coming true. And so they decide to actually join the forces of the High Entia and the Homs in the colonies on the lower parts of Bionis and do a giant attack on the Mechon. And the Mechon are on Mechonis. They live on Mechonis apparently. So
Yes?
yeah, as I was saying, the two titans fought against each other, and while they were killing each other, the sword of the Mechonis is still stuck into the body of the Bionis. So the giant sword of the Mechonis it's like a really big bridge between the two titans, and that's the best way to get over to the Mechonis and try to attack the Mechon. It's the Sword Valley, the giant sword of the Mechonis. And Beenya is already on his way there to Sword Valley. And by the way, he's now going down Valak Mountain. Just look at the time we're starting and when he's finishing Valak Mountain. The whole mountain is nothing more than the upper arm of the Bionis. Just for the idea of the scaling that these two titans have. It's nothing more than the upper arm. And on the 60 Hz version I can already do the spoilers. It's around 10 minutes that you're just walking down this mountain. That's actually always the time when I start to complain about Xenoblade Chronicles not having snowboards. It would have been faster, right?
Yeah, quite a lot.
So and still, while it is just walking downwards the mountain, there is still some there are still some techniques to shorten it up. There is one waypoint that has a pretty big activation radius that we can abuse just by getting into the activation radius and then quick travel to the waypoint we just unlocked. It's a little bit faster. And yeah, it's actually the one that Beenya is showing right now. And we also got the all-beloved ice physics. So yeah, while we're on the way down,
We'll grab another waypoints where we are going a bit later.
yep, we have one task that we're doing on the way down Valak Mountain, because actually we don't have him in the active party, but we have Alvis with us as a guest, and he wanted to show us something. And yeah, so we're just doing that. And to enter the location where we can go, we need to get into this cave. But we actually need to get to the location first, then we can get to the cave, and then we can get back to the location. So that's some time that we are spending actually. That might be a bit... Okay, it was good.
Close one.
It wasn't close, it was precise. It always works. Yeah, by the way, when there are donations, there's always time for it. So
At the moment we don't have any new donations, but I would like to remind that there are some bid wars going on. For example, you can still donate for the fine name of Majora's Mask or the language in Splinter Cell Backlist. So make sure to check it out at speedrun.com and the GSM page.
yes. So Beenya is already in the lava cave. I accidentally walked into the lava cave one time without activating the trigger for the enemy to be there. There's one enemy that will only spawn if we made the progress in the main quest.
Yeah, it's a quest exclusive enemy as well.
Yes, it's this one. And I've actually managed to get in there and was wondering, why is this enemy not there? And it was funny because I actually activated the waypoint where we need to go. So that waypoint that Beenya just used for quick travel, but I actually didn't walk to the door, activating the trigger for the main quest. It's just about 15 or 20 meters further that I didn't make the move. So that just looked pretty dumb. And yes, because it wasn't fun enough, we just need a little bit more walking down the mountain. And yes, by the way, it looks like a big walking simulator, Xenoblade Chronicles, and it pretty much is for this part of the game. But actually, that wouldn't change anything if we didn't play the New Game Plus category, because in the New Game category there is a
Clip one.
Yeah, it is not really a clip. It's more or less some alignment glitch that allows you to get to parts of the Tephra cave. We went through the Tephra cave at the very beginning of the game, and there is one area in the Tephra cave that you are only able to access very late in the game, and it's actually a high level area. And if you find new locations in an area, you get a slight amount of experience points. And there are some secret areas where you get a ton amount of experience. And actually there's one location in the Tephra cave where you can go to rather early in the game. You shouldn't be able to go there, but you can do some misalignment and some small glitch there to actually get to that location. And if you hit that location while being, let's say, level 8 or 9, you instantly get to level 50. And that's how you can do like 2/3 of the game pretty easily in the New Game speedrun. So the New Game speedrun is the most differences in the New Game speedrun are doing this clip, getting some more items that we have right away, and then there is a 45 minutes flat grinding session where you get from about level 55 to about level 70, 75 or 77, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And this grind, it's 45 minutes of straight up grinding, and that's the main difference between the any percent new game and the new game plus category. So I personally prefer the new game plus category because the sheer amount of grinding for me it just gets annoying personally. So Beenya is already out of the Valak Mountain. And he's getting actually to Sword Valley.
Yes.
So Sword Valley is, as I said, the giant sword on from the Mechonis that is still stuck into the Bionis. And there was the tutorial fight that we made at the very beginning of the run was actually a battle that was fought about 1 year prior to the main story of the game, and it was the first big attack from the Mechonis on the Bionis, from the Mechon on the Bionis people. And that was the Battle of Sword Valley. And
during that battle, Dunban single-handedly killed an entire battalion of Mechon.
Yep.
Simply because he could use the Monado, but in return his right arm was paralyzed completely.
Yep.
Because he lost control of the Monado.
Yeah, and apparently we have now the problem that from the battle the Mechon apparently have learned some new moves, and they even have a method to make the Monado useless pretty much. And these are these phased Mechon that are that we met several times. Metal Phase, Mysterious Phase, or we refer to him as Zord, which is his real name. And while we were on Prison Island, there was a mighty being. It was a giant, and he claimed to be the one that has actually crafted the Monado.
Yeah, he claimed to be Sansa.
Yeah, he claimed to be Sansa, who is the soul of Bionis itself, and he claimed to actually have crafted the Monado. And what he made is he actually released some shackles that were on the Monado to unlock its full potential and to actually make it possible to attack the phased Mechon with the Monado.
Yes, and during the battle against Mumkar, just where we noticed that, or on Prison Island already we noticed that phased Mechon are piloted by Homs.
Yes.
And that was the reason we couldn't attack them, because the Monado originally couldn't hurt any beings from Bionis.
Yes.
Oh, too early. Oops. And
You really took the upper way there?
by
Normally
accident.
don't do it.
By accident.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I'm also normally used to do the upper way, but I've tested some stuff and the lower way is actually a bit faster by 2 or 3 seconds. Which is quite an amount for the length of that sequence. So, while we're here on the Sword Valley, we apparently, well, not apparently, we get to know that apparently the Mechon, or Mechonis itself, is somehow draining ether from the Bionis. Because apparently there is no ether on the Mechons itself. But somehow the Mechon also are fueled by ether. So yeah, they are just pulling a lot of ether out of the Bionis. Okay. So, Beenya is right now in the last battle against Mumkar. Actually, I've mentioned the Battle of Sword Valley earlier. Mumkar is one of the companions that Dunban had in the Battle of Sword Valley. But actually he betrayed his friends. And now he's piloting Metal Face. So Mumkar is the one that actually killed a lot of people in Colony 9 and actually also killed Dunban's sister Fiora.
Or so we fought until Prison Island.
Yeah, so we fought until Prison Island because apparently there was someone inside another Phased Mechon, Silver Face, or Phased Nemesis. And that person appeared to be Fiora, but
She didn't recognize anyone.
yeah, she didn't recognize anyone, so they are not sure whether or not it was Fiora. But apparently she's still alive and now also piloting a Phased Mechon.
Yes. After that fight, Mumkar died. He fired one last strong attack, but the platform he stood on crumbled already, and instead he fired at a spear above him, or a spear-like structure, and impaled himself while falling down,
Yeah.
or before falling down. So he died from plummeting to the death.
Yep. So Mumkar is really the first real victim of the battle, besides all the people that got killed by the Mechon. By the Mechon. And Mumkar is the first one that really got killed by Homs. Actually. Not directly, but he more or less killed himself during the battle because he didn't want to give up.
I expected a tougher battle. Good thing I'm here. None? Anyone? Nice job.
Okay. I think I've lost some time on you.
Took some time for Mumkar to give
Yeah.
up chase.
Yeah, sometimes in this fight, we only need to kill one of these Mechon to get an item. And so we normally want to just kill that Mechon, get the item, and get out of the fight because there are just way too many Mechon to handle them fast. But sometimes they just don't want to give up. And yeah, that's kinda annoying when you just don't get out of the fight because you need to activate a switch there. But you can't activate switches while you're still fighting.
Yeah. And The one enemy I just didn't fight, it was actually a unique enemy. The only reason I didn't have to fight it was Earthcloak and not standing in its line of sight.
Yeah, so it's rather precise, and I normally tend to not get it, so that might be an advantage for you, that you get it.
And now, after shutting down 2 of the generators for the ether furnace located in Galahad, we are now shutting down the furnace itself.
Yes, so we recognize that there's a big giant ether furnace that is doing a lot of Mechon production, and yeah, it's just responsible for fueling all these Mechon, and we just want to shut it down in order to cut the supplies of the Mechon. So I'm getting some more distance here in order to end the fight faster, even though I have to walk back.
Almost walked over the edge.
That was close, actually.
Yes, too close.
So let's see if I can do it. I'm just not good enough for this. So I have actually to fight this enemy.
Okay.
So the fight Beenya is doing right now is pretty interesting. Oh, you already through the first fight, so I have to explain that one when I am at it. That fight is now just another fight where you have to get some damage on the main target and then have to wait for a special attack to appear.
Catastrophe was pretty fast.
Damn it.
And with that attack, the gold face destroyed Galahad Fortress.
Yeah.
After revealing himself to be the leader.
Yeah, so Goldface is piloted by Egil, and Egil is the self-proclaimed leader of the Mechon and of Mechonis overall.
Yes, and after the fights, Fedora actually broke free of his control and... Well, actually, I think Fedora is the reason Galahad Fortress got destroyed.
Yeah, actually she is.
Or the fights between Egil and Fedora.
Yeah, and so it turns out that she actually is Fiora, and now she is also remembering Shulk, since they end up falling together from the Galahad Fortress, and yeah, so they are together, and Fiora is finally recognizing Shulk. So yeah, Fiora is actually the mysterious person 7, the character that is the last one joining the party. So, and I haven't really mentioned where Beenya is now. He's on the Fallen Arm. And during the battle between Bionis and Mechonis that occurred years ago, and thousands of years ago, the Bionis managed to chop off an arm of the Mechonis, and that arm just fell into the sea, and that's the fallen arm, obviously. So it's I guess it's the left arm of the Mechonis.
Yeah, and afterwards, Egil actually rebuilt that arm
Yep.
in order to be able to use the sword again later, I guess.
Yep.
Alright, I'm feeling it. We can definitely do this. Almost take this.
Okay, I got also a pretty good catastrophe. You're really going for it. So now we Beenya has Ryan in the first
Spot.
spot, and I was mentioning that we will use Ryan later in the run. And there's one particular reason why I'm not able to take Ryan seriously.
Or me.
Alley-oop.
That's the reason.
Yeah. This.
This just bluntly nice jumping sound.
I'm really feeling it. I'm powering up. Love seeing the Monargo in action. In this.
You have quite a lead on me right now.
Yeah, I noticed.
I really hope I can make the Mechonis wall jump. First try. I really need to do it. And I have to do a good Lorthea fight.
Yep.
So I'm also equipping Fiora. We only need to equip her weapons. And we noticed yesterday that actually we're doing different approaches on the weapons as well. I'm just increasing the flat damage of the weapons.
And I'm using Fiora to decrease the enemy's defense.
Yeah.
Mostly because Fiora attacks way more often than anyone else, so the chance of it to proc is a lot higher.
Yeah, so the best gem to decrease the enemy's defense has a chance of, I think it's 25%?
It decreases the defense by 25% and 30% of the attacks, I think.
30% of the attacks. Yeah, and Fiora tends to do a lot of double attacks. So she does double strikes, and the double strikes actually have the 30% chance 2 times. And we even use a double attack gem on Fiora, which increases the amount of double strikes. So it's really likely that she will get a very fast hit that decreases the enemy's defense.
Yes.
I'm just more relying on Fiora's plain damage than on decreasing her damage. Than increasing the damage of the other people by decreasing the enemy's
Defense.
defense, yes.
We also have another donation if we have the time for it.
Yeah, just go for it.
Go for it.
All right. $3 from Grapple. He says, I'm really dominating it.
Yeah.
Okay, now the memes start. So yeah,
The most used sentence by Shark is I'm really feeling it.
yes. So the thing is about Xenoblade Chronicles, it is a really long game and it has also very many voiced lines, but there are some lines that are overused in the game just way too often. And yeah, one of the lines is Shulk's "I'm really feeling it," and
Another one is Ryan's "It's Rhyme Time."
yeah, now it's Rhyme time. That's also one.
Yeah.
So there are just way too many lines that are just used way too often.
I just noticed okay, doing it the other way around then. Normally you would go to this landmark first, but doing it the other way around.
You could even go to the metal phase rack. You could even go there and just
I think we
activate this
found
one.
it.
Yeah.
Leonardo.
It doesn't take that much more time. I'm sometimes doing it.
Welcome.
And now, after giving Leonardo a piece to repair Fira's body, we are going to take a rest while she is working.
Yeah. So I guess I will try to cheese a bit of time by doing a little bit different route that we normally do. So I will unlock another waypoint before I would normally do it. Before giving back the part that that we needed, just as Beenya has shown it, I will actually go to the waypoint that Beenya is going to right now. The reason for that is that the waypoint has also a pretty big area and a spawning location far in front, and it's nice that you just walked through a waypoint, because that will give me some more seconds to catch up. So I'll just walk through here and go to the waypoint and then retrieve the item that we need in order to catch on in the main quest.
And now we are shot before McConnell's Fields,
Yes.
and it's one of the biggest areas in the game, just not horizontally but vertically.
Yes.
And yeah, gates in front of that. You can skip the opening animation by simply quick traveling to the landmark there.
Okay. And also, McConnell's Fields is a pretty interesting area, because you have to do a lot of good movement techniques there.
Yeah, first floor is pretty standard still.
Yeah. In the beginning it's pretty standard, but there are some movement techniques and jumping techniques that we will use pretty soon to get through this area faster.
The main theme of Mechonis Fields is you have to restore energy for the lifts to work.
Yep.
So that's the main reason for us to walk around here.
Yeah, we just need to get up, and apparently no one needs lifts, so we just so all of the elevators are just shut off apparently, and we need to reactivate them in order to get up. So, and there we go. Beenya is at the Mechonis jump almost.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty hard trick to do. You will see a spiral tower that Beenya is
Going to unlock soon.
yeah, and on the spiral tower you are able to barely jump to a different platform where we have to go anyways, and you just are not able to just jump over there, but you have to jump on the fence of the tower, and from that you have to jump over to the platforms, and the spacing for doing that jump is really tight. So it's one of the hardest tricks, and yeah, Beenya is already doing the safety save, just in case that he falls down.
Yeah, when I fall down, it's... Yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
It's faster to just reload than to walk up.
yeah. Walking around this area would take like 1 or 1.5 minutes, so the jump really saves a lot, and you can try it several times without losing time. Expected a quest menu to come up there.
Oh well. Jumped too far.
Oh,
Well, at least I didn't fall into water down there.
yeah, that is the worst thing that can happen, that you're falling down, because while you're falling you cannot open up the menu, I guess.
And while you're in
Oh,
the water
no!
down there, you cannot either.
I got it. I didn't pay attention. There's one weird thing going on. It can be that the camera is just freaking out. And it can happen that the while you're on the way to the camera, on the elevator, the camera is freaking out, and it by accident it just puts the character below the elevator, so you just clip through the whole thing.
Fourth or fifth try, it's still good.
So I even made the mistake by just having the camera in the wrong spot, and clipping through the elevator. It normally shouldn't happen because you just can align the camera correctly, but I didn't pay attention to that one. And that's why you normally don't look at the other runner's screen in the race. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm just on an elevator, so I have some free time, and nope, I don't. Okay, so let's see. Oh, you know what? Let's YOLO it.
Good luck, I guess. Oh wait. Still have to unlock the bug. That's
Not getting the jump. Okay. So okay. No YOLOs.
you cannot save well on that.
Yeah. I just noticed as well. Nope. First try. Thanks. So I technically would have caught up there if I if I didn't make the stupid mistake to just fall through the elevator I'm standing on.
And yeah, the enemy is standing in front of that button. Normally attacks inside. It's a unique as well.
Yeah.
But with Earthclock and when you're jumping past the button, you can actually get past him without needing to fight. But it's not that easy to pull off.
Yep. So it actually comes down to a good Lorithia fight for me. That's pretty... it's pretty bad. So you're already... Beenya is already at the knee, almost. At the knee of the Mechonis. And I'm still making my way to the outer side of the Mechonis legs. And since I'm normally really bad in avoiding these enemies, as Beenya mentioned, there's a unique enemy watching that switch. I won't take the chances to try and sneak up to the switch. I will just kill the enemy. Because if I stand behind the enemy, I get more starting damage from the backstab. So I have him halfway down, just with one attack.
Yeah, it doesn't lose that much time actually.
Yeah, it's only like 5 seconds.
And now for the next set of precise jumps.
Oh yeah, you're already there. Oh yeah, one thing, I'm on one of these, how are they called in English?
I don't know either.
Nice. Well, on these moving bands, they if you jump on these ones, your speed kind of gets messed up, and you end up having more speed for a short time after you land than you normally would have while walking on these things.
Yes, and when jumping off, you retain that speed for a short amount of time.
Yeah. So we're constantly jumping on them. So I have to wait on a cycle. I didn't think about doing that jump this way, actually. That's neat.
Yeah, it's faster than just walking around.
Yeah, it's actually it's definitely faster, but I actually didn't think of it. So thanks for showing me. Sometimes it's good to be behind in a race.
And now,
Oh yeah, the most fun part in the game.
high velocity lift.
Yeah.
The only partner in the game with downtime. Well, with long downtime.
Yeah. It's just a pretty long elevator. I accidentally jumped before I walked on the band.
Bit too early.
Yeah, bit too early. Damn it. Can you land on these?
Apparently not.
No, actually not. Damn it. Come on, new strats. Inventing new strats during a marathon run. Well, it's not inventing new strats, but it's taking new strats that you never have taken before.
Second vision in the game, or in the fight at least. Bit too early.
Yeah, but you normally take this vision.
You can't avoid it.
You can't really avoid it. Actually, I've had one fight, where I didn't get a vision at Jade Phase. And that was pretty insane, because normally it's like 95% that you get it. It's just a fight where Jade Phase has a pretty high vision range, and so that was the wrong one. He has a pretty high vision range, and he has a pretty long-ranged attack, so it's very likely that he will use this long-ranged attack on you, and that will cause division. And it's very unlikely that he doesn't do this attack.
Yes. After fighting Jadeface, you get to see that this one is scattered. Shada's fiancé, I think.
Yeah,
But he doesn't seem to remember anything.
yeah. So, and I'm getting on the elevator as well. And I pretty like this elevator, actually. For a speedrun it's good. Because it's the best possible way to do something against the dry mouth. So, let's see how I do against Jadeface. By the way, Beenya is already in the central factory, and I pretty like the music in the central factory, so generally speaking, the music in Xenoblade Chronicles is very good overall, but there are some areas where I really like it. Come on. Okay, I sneak past it. So I will most likely... Yes! I knew it! I just wanted to say, I will most likely get the laser vision right at this point.
Yeah. Something you could see just there is on my screen is when falling down you normally take damage. You don't take any damage when you grab onto a wall before or a ladder, or like, to be more precise.
Nice.
There is no falling damage when grabbing onto a ladder.
Yep. You almost overshot it there. So, I'm also heading to the central factory now. While Beenya is already at the factory vent.
Yep. And to get through this vent we have to grab some items.
Yep. And build a bomb, actually.
Or something.
We just have to blow up the vent there. And we need a bomb, and for the bomb we have to grab these items and just build it. So we have 3 different enemies around this area. And we need to kill all of these 3 enemies. Alright,
And we're okay.
Who else wants some?
it's also a slight difference in the routes that we take, because I'm already switching to Rhine here, while Beenya is still holding on to Shulk as the main character.
Yes.
In this particular area it's most likely player preference. you normally should have Shulk at least against Jadeface, because Jadeface has a really long vision range, and we still only have the Earthcloak gem on Shulk. So
Without an Earthcloak gem, you would get the first vision right at the start of the fight.
yeah, so right at the start of this big giant hole where we were, if we didn't have an Earthcloak gem, Jadeface would actually attack us from right there, and I didn't make to cling against the ladder again. So that's what happens then. Good that we also have sorted this one out. Let's do it again.
Yes, there's one case where Earthcloak can help, and that's the unique enemy standing in front of yet another switch.
Yeah.
And you can skip it when you have an Earthcloak gem. That's good enough, at least.
Yeah, so we were looking into it some days ago, and the Earthcloak gem that I'm using on my file is actually not the best quality Earthcloak gem, and the stats are just a little bit worse than the one that Beenya is using, and that might be the reason why I'm not able to pull most of the Earthcloak tricks off. I think that's more or less the right way there.
I'm already at the top of Central Factory. But there's still another gate to unlock.
Yeah. And another quest fight to do.
I'm really feeling it.
Yay, so go you! Try and catch it! Down!
So I'm finally at the factory event.
Feeling pretty good.
Looking good too for your Dream is alright, we came through. Piece of cake.
We've definitely gotten stronger.
Yes, and I'm done with Central Factory.
Already, well. I really have to get closer to you. Oh, that was a critical hit already.
And now I'm in Mekono's capital, Agnotha.
Yeah, Ignoratha. It's also a... The thing is, if I keep saying it's a pretty big zone, it's a pretty big area, or a pretty big map, that it just applies to, like, all maps in the game. The whole world is just really huge.
It's still one of the smaller maps, actually. But the biggest city map.
Yep.
or second biggest. Colony 9 should be still bigger.
Yeah. So I'm also not taking the chances here because in my previous runs I never had the opportunity to actually get the Earthcloak trick there, and it's only 5 seconds, so I take it. Again, I'm mostly blaming my Earthcloak gem for it, because it just is not really that good.
Yeah, I think it's the Earthquake gem.
So yeah, the main thing that needs to be done in Igniratha is just activating 4 towers, and we just have to do a good routing in between the towers, and that's not actually good. I keep falling off of it. Damn it. Maybe let's use let's use the safe strat, aligning the camera to the back of the character. I've never done that before, by the way.
Yet another unique.
Yeah, 2 more unique enemies. There's one particular enemy in Igniratha that I really don't like for a particular reason. I've managed to it's a pretty interesting story about yeah, because I've attacked this enemy. Well, this enemy attacked me, and my NPC companions were just like, okay, let's kill him. And the bad thing about it was that actually the last hit on this enemy was done by Dunban. He was on the team, and he did the last hit with the Demon Slayer. For those of you who do know the game, the Demon Slayer, yeah, it's a pretty interesting attack because it tends to knock down like all enemies in a really big area around the enemy if you happen to kill an enemy with a Demon Slayer. So if you kill an enemy with a Demon Slayer, all remaining enemies in a pretty big area get knocked down. And they don't only get knocked down, but they are lying on the ground for like 2 minutes straight. And while they're on the ground, it still counts as if you're in the fight. So that means that I've ran into this enemy, Dunban killed him, and I wasn't able to press any switches for the next 2 minutes straight.
Would have been faster to kill yourself.
Yes, actually. But I didn't ever notice that the Demon Slayer knockdown lasts that long. I just was like, okay, let's just let it go off. And that's okay. And it was like, will it finally end?
Yeah, didn't know it was that long either until then.
Yeah, so normally the Demon Slayer it's basically fight ending. Also for casual fights.
And now that I've unlocked the Shrine Transporter, and when the I'm getting attacked by Geralt again.
Okay, so I have to leave 4 towers behind.
The first fight is just getting down to the threshold.
Yeah.
Now we're putting together. So this is what teamwork is. We can definitely do this.
You had some really good RNG there. I normally ended up getting locked by the companions that Geralt has.
Yeah.
Because they actually can force you to target them. And on Rhine and on Dunban we use target force resistance gems. And that's one reason why I already use Rhine. Because I don't have any target force resistance gems on Shulk. And I've ended up getting target forced too many times. And that can just draw the fight into a real long time.
Yeah, in case that happens, or even when not, I tend to use Monado Buster. It's an area attack. It has extremely long range, and yeah.
Yeah, it is a pretty big area of effect, but as it is, oh wow. Let's just kill this guy. I don't have Dunban in my team. That's the actual enemy that I meant before. I was mentioning this enemy before, and that's actually this enemy that was attacking me while yeah, that's the enemy that caused me a lot of trouble with the Demon Slayer. I normally don't get focused by him, actually. I normally just run past him.
And now, after Egil also destroyed Ignilva, trying to get rid of us, we are back on Junks,
Yeah,
the Machina ship.
Yes. Because Junks, in the first time you see Junks, it appears to be just a building floating in the water of the small village that is located on the Fallen Arm. However, Junks is actually an airship, so it is able to move out of the water and fly. You can fly around with it, which is pretty neat because yeah, I'd say Junks is one of the real MVPs in the game actually, because how many times does the people on Junks save the party? 2 times at least? 3 times maybe?
Saving maybe once, but they carry us to every other place we can't get to normally.
Yeah. Maybe I should get this way. Right.
It's just as I thought.
There's the next one.
Yeah, I had that one attack me as well.
Yeah, but that enemy doesn't...
Enemies aren't able to just fall down off edges, so they give up chase pretty fast then.
Yeah. Okay.
There's actually a question which came with the donation.
Yes.
Yes?
Alright, so $5 by third, and he's asking, we are 2.5 hours into the run and I'm getting confused. When does Pyra join the party?
What?
Ah. Well.
Pyra will never
Definitely
join.
no. Definitely no. Wrong game. I'm
Wrong
sorry,
game.
mate.
Sorry.
Pyra is a character of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, right?
Yes, Paris in Xenoblade 2.
And yes, that's actually Xenoblade Chronicles 1.
I can do it. I know I can. Shifted into Senku.
And now I'm waiting for him to trigger his special attack.
Good old Yalabah fight. Mechonis Core. Mechonis Core is a... story-wise, it's a pretty interesting turning point. Because the whole game up to now we thought that the Mechon are our enemies and we just have to get rid of the Mechon and we're fine. And it turns out to be not the case.
Yes, it turns out that Egil started building Mechon after the Bionis started attacking the Mechanos at first.
Yes.
And over time he got so consumed with vengeance that he really can't do anything else anymore. Or doesn't want to do anything else anymore.
Yes.
No.
Wow.
They were really slow there. Normally you can't get even half the way to them.
They really deny you. Well, normally you get Egil down to like 5% of his HP, and yeah, basically that was it. And then he does this giant attack that is scripted in the fight. And after this attack, it's most of the times it's an insta kill because you let your NPC companions just stand in front of Egil and attack him as well, even though they don't deal any damage. While you're getting off these small transistors. They can't help you with that, but they can get Egil down as soon as you are finished with these transistors. And normally that works pretty well, but I guess you just got trolled a bit there.
Didn't lose that much time.
Yeah, it's like 10 seconds.
Not even 10 seconds.
Not even, maybe? I don't know. 5 to 10, something about that. Anyways, that's time where I can capitalize. Although it won't change the outcome of the race, I guess. If you don't mess up really badly, I think you have it.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Not even the worst Lothier fight ever can do that much. Well, I have to say I kinda expected it because your personal best is like 6 minutes better than mine.
About that.
So
yes.
that time needs to get somewhere. If we could see each other, we could just high five while walking past each other.
Alright.
High five. Nah. Doesn't really work. So
Now on our way back from Mekon's core we are getting attacked by Dixon and his Tilapia.
yes, so during the events in Mekon's core, it turns out that Yeah, Sansa is also just Sansa is actually the god of the Bionis, and he's most likely the most evil person in this whole world. And with him being a god, that makes things rather complicated. So that Sansa actually was within Shulk's body the whole time, and Dixon is actually a disciple of Sansa, and he just freed Sansa out of Shulk's body.
By injuring him almost deadly.
Yeah. Well, everyone thought that Shulk was killed in the process, actually.
Yeah, but when going back to Junks after Mechanic's Core, you actually, when running away to Junks, you actually can see in the story memo that he's barely holding on to life.
Yeah. So yeah.
I guess they also know that's already.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a big turning point in the story where it just turns out that the big enemy in the game is not Agil actually, and are not the Mechon, but it's then about to kill Sansa, and he has some pretty bad moves in his tech book. So, for example, he has a ton of Telethia under his control. And I'm just rooted now, so I can move, because I technically would move pretty much out there to get the small transistors down.
They should appear now.
Yeah. Yep, there it goes. I have to wait for the vision though, because I'm not able to actually kill these small transistors or destroy them. Just some seconds.
Yeah, they are invincible for a few seconds
Yep.
after view vision.
Yep. No. Lariat was not a good choice there. And that's normally what happens in the Sansa fight. That you destroy the third transistor and right away your two companions finish the fight. You're really doing the melee strats there. You can do it in the fight, I normally opt to not do it.
Yeah, it's a bit slower, but
Yeah, it depends on how fast you can do the manuing to get the right party together.
now for the rest of the game I'm gonna use Ryan instead of Shulk.
So now it's Rhine time for you.
Exactly.
I'll take you all on. We can definitely do this here. Yeah, all together now.
And there you could already see how much damage.
Yeah.
Sword.
So the sword drive normally deals. Well, it is actually the one skill that deals the highest single target damage with one blow, and in addition to that, Ryan has two other arts, one aura and one self buff,
Yeah,
that both do increase his physical strength.
yes,
and
the aura increases his strength increases his strength for a bit of defense.
Yeah.
and the other one increases the damage of his next art by 3 times on the highest level.
Yeah, so it actually boosts to 4 times damage there, which is pretty neat, because the sword drive is pretty strong anyways. So depending on which strat we're using, as we mentioned earlier, Beenya is using the
Back
the
attack.
the back attack actually.
Yes, back attack.
Ah,
On Rhine it's back attack.
okay. That's interesting. I thought you would use the arts increase. Oh no, it's a back attack actually. So I think you said it's about 160k damage that you can reach.
Yes, about that.
I normally reach around 110k, but I have a 45% crit chance because I'm using a crit rate gem. And if I hit the crit, then I'm going up to 220k damage. At least that's normally the highest number that I get. Okay, so I have just to wait until the fight ends. And in between, Beenya is already in the Lorithia. No, it's not the Lorithia fight. He's going to the Lorithia fight.
We are back inside the Bionis,
Yep.
and the area seems a bit different. Probably because Bionis was dormant before, and he's now waking up,
Yes.
or he woke up.
He doesn't really like me.
Yeah, it really doesn't like you.
Now, finally. So, just to mention for the Lorithia fight, it actually is one of the hardest fights in the game. And second, overused voice lines.
Yes, the fight is a meme in itself.
Yeah, the fight is a meme. You want to count?
For it will be your last.
Child's play. Right.
I have been granted immortality. Extinguished from this world. You'll pay for your
Oh, yeah, 2 down, that's
for your insolence.
enough to get rid of most of the armor. But yeah, usually you try to get rid of was for Nebula, because they actually increase her defense by quite a lot.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
4 out it's like 100% or 150% extra armor or reduced damage, and with all 4 gun it's actually 100% extra damage.
Yeah. So, Lorithia herself does not have that many HP for her level, but she has this really crazy amount of defense, just depending on how many nebula are out there. And it's the real, the real thing about this fight is getting this nebula down. Because they themselves have a crazy amount of physical armor, so you mostly have only magical attacks to actually hurt them, and that's the real task there in this fight, to manage to get the nebula down and then kill Dorothea. I actually also, by accident, did use Melia strats.
Mario isn't that weak either.
Yeah, she's not that weak, but the thing about Melia is that she actually is rather slow in her attacks. Okay, then let's get the party together again.
And we're okay.
Cool. Let's keep this up. Good thing I'm here. No? Anyone? Eat this! Splitter! Splitter! Now we're pulling together. I'm powering up. I'm feeling it.
Try and catch me.
Now it's right time.
Feel like we can beat anything.
Cool. Let's keep this up. Let's not lose our heads, though. Huh.
We are back on Prison Islands.
Yes.
And, well, Dixon greeted us before that already. And now we are on a chase for him.
Yes. So now we really get to see the whole prison island.
Wow! White Fawning.
I haven't seen that before. I mean, I know it could happen.
Yes, I haven't seen it either.
Nice. Vision while falling. Actually, does it cancel the fall damage?
No.
That would be interesting. You think you can make the hole in one?
I don't know, we'll see. Nope. Yes.
Yes, hole in one!
Yes, when jumping from that pole you can fly directly into the transporter there.
Yes. It just looks cool and is a little bit faster.
Exactly, it's mostly for the looks.
Yeah, it's mostly a just for fun strat. Ah no, I won't do it. So here in the Bionis interior where I still am, there's actually a path that is... there are several paths and I ended up getting the wrong paths a while ago. And while Beenya was watching me, he was always like, oh god, did you really make the wrong path again? And I was like, oh damn it. And there's one particular path where you apparently take the wrong path, but you can still get to the right path. And it takes a little bit more time, and I was just thinking about doing it just for the trolling there, but no. Not now. Let's just finish it clean.
Now, after we finally got access to his transporter, we can go on.
Yeah. And I'm coming up to the Lorithia fight.
And you might remember that part here. You've seen it before in the first visit.
Yes. So let's see how I can handle Dorothea. Obviously I pay. Got 3 of them down. Nice.
So that's a bit of extra damage already. So that fight will be faster than mine.
Yep,
Probably.
it definitely is.
Yeah.
I got her down already.
Somebody in chat asked the question how wide the gap between you guys is.
Currently, it's almost the full prison island. That's 3 or 4 minutes.
Probably more. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, something like that. So it's a pretty significant. And as I said, if Beenya really doesn't screw up very badly,
Yeah, by now it's almost completely impossible.
yeah, it's
I'd
3
have-
more fights actually.
Yeah, I'd have to die on the spawn several times. And
Yeah.
it's pretty much the only one you can die to if you're really unlucky.
Yeah. Maybe the Dragon King, but
Yeah.
that's not even likely. So it's pretty much set.
Yeah. That bell looks...
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the bell is pretty nice on the 50 Hz version.
Yeah. For some reason, the
The
animations don't align at all.
Yeah, the energy band somehow moves faster in the 50 Hz version than it does in the 60 Hz version. Normally it should align.
And now we are killing a dragon.
Yes. It can't be a good RPG without having any random dragon as an enemy, right?
Try and catch me.
Yeah, it was more than 200k without back attack.
Oh, nice.
I think at least.
Works out. One shot.
Alley-oop.
And now, the next cutscene is really the only unskippable cutscene. Because if you do, you're just... It will just assume you said no.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm ready.
So you have to choose between yes or no in the cutscene, and if you choose no, as Beenya said, if you skip it, you choose no.
Yes, this is the last point where you can say this is point of no return, more or less.
Yes.
So, obviously we're going to ask if you even want to continue.
Yeah.
But you can still do it, so even then it's not that bad. And now we are fighting Dix in its true form.
Yes. So
And that was Dixon.
damn it, I
Ah,
didn't make
close.
it. That was the failed hole in one.
And now we are in a pretty surreal place.
It's more or less the universe itself.
Yes, we are in our solar system.
Yeah, actually.
And we are greeted by some old enemies in spirit form.
240k. And yes, Beenya and I, we are still quite challenging each other's damages, because none of us really wants to finally say which of the two methods that we're using is the better one for getting the highest damages. So we are still challenging each other on our save files.
I shall wipe you from this.
That's why I had to mention the 240k.
Love seeing them in action. Here we go.
And yeah, Beenya is already in the final boss fight. In the final fight against Sansa. That's still, yeah, it was still phase 1.
Yeah. Should have waited for Merkin charge.
Only the divine
Yeah,
may
maybe.
shape the future. Definitely do this.
Oh, you still have it.
Mine is the one true Monado, powering up, instrument of destruction and rebirth.
And now, final phase.
Yes. That's exactly where you normally would get the Monado 3, which is the weapon that should cut the whole run. So that's actually the point where you would get the best weapon in the game.
Power dwell within you. Here we go. It cannot be.
GG.
Yep.
307.41.
741. So, yeah. And now, about 15 to 20 minutes of cutscene.
Yeah, that's one thing which is really, really nice in Xenoblade Chronicles, the cutscenes and the storytelling in between the cutscenes.
Yes, and
Although great is not
it's also considered as one cutscene, so if you skip one cutscene, you skip everything of it.
Yeah,
I am Monado. I was here at the beginning, and I will proclaim the end.
But that's impossible.
Shulk,
so
time for you to choose.
let's have fun with the
Does
energy
this world
band.
belong to Zanza, or does it belong to you?
That is something.
Yeah, I think it's actually the barrel moving faster than the energy thingy.
Yeah, you're right, the audio cues say that it's actually the bell moving faster. Because the audio aligns with the energy band.
We use our power.
Yes, you're correct.
for our God, and then seize our destiny.
Okay, then let's see how the dragon will come down for us. I don't have any charges, so I have to wait a
War
bit.
swing increases that
Of a God's existence,
for every hit.
born from the chaos of creation. It is vanishing.
Yeah, by the way, I'm also having some more skills that Beenya didn't have in his build. Mainly they are the skills on the far left side of my menu, of my battle menu.
This is
And
my
these two
hope.
skills,
Your home.
they are just optional because they deal rather good damage while having a rather small attack animation.
It is Zanza.
So that's why I like using them in case that I don't hit the critical hits,
No!
and
Results have not been
in case I
confirmed.
don't
It's too dangerous.
And that
yeah,
voice,
make it.
It's Mayneth. Ridiculous. It's perfectly safe.
And
We are
yeah.
about to bear witness to the birth
right after
of
the
a
final
universe.
boss, you see where Elvis comes
Only
from,
a god could perform such a miracle. But today,
or
mankind
what happened
moves
before
one
this
step closer to
universe
life.
we were in was created.
Yep.
was simple curiosity. The curiosity of a single man that destroyed the universe and created a new one. A new universe.
I just realized that I just need some more damage, because the next attack, yeah, should be the phase-ending attack. And now I have the whole charge for the sword drive in my bag for the second phase, where it's actually about dealing the damage.
As the world advanced to each further stage, it was inherited by generations.
That was only the
of different
170k.
life forms. But over time, awareness of Zanza faded. Zanza feared this. In order to escape his own annihilation, he wished for a world in a perpetual cycle of destruction and recreation.
So,
Bionics
let's
being filled
get
with life.
to Zanza.
And the Telethia coming to wipe it out. It was all the will of
So it
Zanza.
actually was more than 5 minutes
It
that we
was.
were a part of each other.
But the
Seems.
truth of the matter is that he longed for
Even-
friendship.
Underestimated that a bit. Yeah, but
His future. And our future. It might have been possible for them to coexist.
I mean, I couldn't say that I didn't expect to lose
However,
this
that
race.
time has passed. The old god was defeated by the new god that he himself created.
New God.
Yes. That is why I appeared before you, Shulk.
Alvis, what are you?
I am the administrative computer of a
So,
phase
by the
transition
way,
experiment facility.
if you're wondering why
But that
we are
will mean
walking
little to
towards
you.
the enemies first,
To you,
um,
I am a machine.
there are invisible vaults
Is my
actually
original form.
that block us from going directly to the points.
This world is stagnant.
So the actual alley that we can walk is a bit more than
I will
the
ask you, it's
the place where the enemy stands.
What is your wish?
But we have
the
to
world to continue to stagnate.
really, yeah, do
Or
some
will you allow it to evolve
ways around
to
the
next
invisible
level?
vaults.
The choice is yours to make.
Okay.
I don't know. All I wanted to do was stop Zanza having his way, that's all. I cannot be a god.
Too right. You're great and all, but there's no way you're a god.
Everyone.
Fully blocked with 80k damage.
Don't worry, Shulk. None of us want to be gods anyway. And I don't really know what the future holds, but we just want to live our life as it comes.
Eating grub, sleeping, laughing, crying, sometimes arguing.
Okay.
Sounds alright.
Second phase.
He's right. And being with the ones we love. That's enough.
By the way, you might
Even
also
so,
see that I am
we change little by
using
little.
the sword drive and then immediately the war swing. The war swing fills this fills the special ability
For every hit.
yeah, for every hit. So it's basically the fastest way to get this this one up, and we need to this one to be up and charged in order to do the next charge for the sword drive.
Continuously evolving.
So it's rather important to do it
We need a more dramatic
this
change
way
than
around.
Yeah.
No. Final fight.
Little by little.
Yep.
Each day as it comes. That's
Oh, come
how
on.
we should live. That's our world.
That's normally slower than doing it, but just wanted to show it off.
From your
Just finish him with a chain attack in style.
apologies. However, I have good reason. This world has
So,
become
3:15:21.
mistake.
I guess it's okay.
Have you made your decision?
Not
I mean,
bad.
since both of us have not yet recorded a run of the 50 Hz version, it's technically a personal best for both of us. in the subcategory. Thank you. Yeah, technically there's not much difference between the two versions, and we just don't have the equipment at home to record on that 50 Hz version. So yeah, it's basically a personal best, as I said, but it's also the first run in the category that we did, so it doesn't have to say anything.
Exactly. It was the first run we ever recorded on that, or the first one that was faster than the 60 Hz version at least.
Yeah.
The first serious or more serious run.
Yeah. So yes, technically the world record in the 50 Hz version is just below 3 hours, I guess. It is below 3 hours, right?
I don't know.
I guess yes.
Around 3 hours at least.
Yeah. It's like a 250x. Something like that. And yeah, so we're compared to the world record, we're still rather slow, but yeah, it's just nice to also have the 50 Hz